We are live. Welcome to the live drive Jive archive with your host, Frank Monday. We are broadcasting out of Twilight Zone Old Peking, Central Kingdom of the Dragon. Hey, hope you all good looking six people are doing well out in Happy Land today. We have got a internet connection, which is delightful. It's always nice to be able to check in with everyone. It's getting really chilly here in the capital. The weather is much colder, and you got to wrap up a bit. And I was feeling it yesterday, man. For some reason, I was hiding out in my room, and I turned on the heater, and I felt cold. Well, I took, you don't know, but let me tell you, I took a shower. And sometimes taking a hot shower on a cold day can make you feel warmer, and sometimes it can chill you. As you know, anyway, getting out of the shower afterwards. So I made sure that I turned on the heater before I took my shower. So that's good. What's been going on out in Happy Land recently? Anything fun and interesting? I've been listening to Homeland Security. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that guy, but he makes a bunch of videos trying to decode the New World Order and the Swiss Nazis. He's always talking about the Octagon. He's kind of fun. I think he said he's a South African, maybe, or a French guy. I can't remember exactly where he says he's from. I don't even know if he ever has said where he's from. But he spends a lot of time focused on the so-called bigwigs of the New World Order. He makes a lot of relevant connections, I think, with the Pharaohstocracy, the Order of the Pharaohs, and their position and everything these days. The Crown. The video I was listening to was actually maybe a year old, so I don't know if he's made any videos for a while. He he suffered some trouble with YouTube, as we all do. That they don't like too much speculation or any interesting conversation. They'd rather everyone just muzzle themselves and ignore the greater situation. But he's hard hitting, man. He doesn't pull any punches, so he's fun to listen to. Hey, are you guys familiar with him at all? Other than that, I did a little poetry reading for Lovecraft. I said a prayer for Crystal K and her dog. Recently had to something happened there, and so my prayers are with you. Anytime you lose a friend of the family, whether it be a furry friend or any other kind of friend or a family member that's been with you for a long time, that's really tough, man. That takes time to get through. Especially because oftentimes there's a lot of other things associated with that prior to that. And letting go is not. I don't even know. I don't think people should necessarily let go, as it were. They should. Hey, free gift got from God's out there. Frank and Jayzy, good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. It's getting cold here in Peking, so I can't keep the window open. I got to get rid of this JP Farrell. They want to do some The disconnect looks like it might have disconnected. I don't know. It blanked out for a second. Philadelphia Phillies. That sounds like football to me. Is that football? I think it's basketball season though, right? Is there a football season? Are they at the same time? Football and basketball? All right. I can't check the chat too much, guys, because I'm driving, so I don't really pay too much attention. There, it's all of them happening. Okay, that's good. Football and basketball. What about baseball? Is baseball the same time too? I wonder why they play through the winter. So it starts. We're in the fall, going into winter, and it would seem like you'd want to play during warmer seasons. Yeah, it's beautiful out. It is. I can imagine. We're under a dark moon right now. We're headed towards Scorpio. I believe the sun has transitioned into Scorpio today. World Series is going to happen soon. Okay, so it's getting towards the end of baseball season. That was one I tended to pay a little more attention to, was baseball. I never paid much attention to basketball, but they really like basketball over here in China. And hey, Miss Mary Moon's out there in Happy Land as well. I can't read the chat, guys. I'm driving, so the text is too small. So I just got to cruise along, and I can look down at it occasionally and see people's names. I heard about a celebration called Flattoberfest. Have you guys ever heard about that? In October, the only really thing I knew about, other than, like Halloween and stuff like that, was Inktober. I know that a lot of people like to draw in October, and they try to draw an ink drawing a day. I believe some guy started that, and then later on, people didn't like the guy who started it. But so he lost the interest of people. But from what I understand, people still participate in Inktoberfest, especially people who are involved in the tattoo industry. So I've tried to do Inktober in the past, and I think the most drawings I ever did in an October was like 15 or 20, something like that. So it's pretty hard to hit 30 days of drawing each day. But I can do 100 days of magic, and it's day 87 or 88. 88, I believe. So if you are keeping up with the 100-day magical challenge, we're getting near the end of it, man. Maybe you've learned a little something about magic. I've learned something about astrology. Not a lot. It's a subject that requires a good deal of study in order to be able to learn much about it. But I have endeavored to do so. I'm trying to figure out how everything is like square and trine and opposite and stuff like that on reading the charts. So that's interesting. That's something new and fun to learn. But I also have been studying some of the stalwarts of magic, the Kabbalah of wizardry, and I've been reading the mystical Kabbalah, and now I'm on the highway headed east, and there are some heavy work trucks out. They're doing the People's Congress here in the capital, so everything's a little tense about that because I don't know, how the aristocracy, the royals, get a little bit tense about their position. It's not enough that they can print endless amounts of money to finance their wicked lifestyles. They also have to lord it over the peasants. So as a private citizen, I don't pay much attention to it. Never really have. A lot of people find it sensational and interesting to talk about the royals, the aristocracy. Looks like you guys are trying to say something to me out there in Happy Land. Like I said, I can't read the chat because I'm driving, but I can have a drink of my coffee and stay warm in this cold weather, man. I've kind of caught cold a little bit, and that's no fun. because it's cold. I'm getting older, and so I'm more sensitive to the cold weather. What about you guys? Do you fare well? And are you a cold weather person? Growing up in Southern California, we didn't have a lot of cold weather, and so I never really got used to cold weather until I moved to Boston. I moved to Boston for a couple of years, and they get cold winters, man, and lots of snow. And that was the most snow living in Boston for a couple of years, was the most snow I had ever experienced. Uh, there were times in California when I would go into the mountains during the autumn or winter and experience in Boston. I was there one winter during a huge snow and maybe a little later, maybe a little earlier, and it dropped something like 3 or 4 feet of snow. There were huge drifts of snow everywhere, and the subways or the rails, the transportation lines, all closed down. They said they would be closed for like 2 or 3 days in order to be able to work out trying to sweep up the snow. So they got out snow blowers and snow plows, and the locals had to shovel the snow out of their own driveways and stuff. And so it was piled up on the door, and we had to climb out the window and take turns. We only had one shovel, one plastic snow shovel, and we had to take turns shoveling snow. I had never shoveled snow before. I had never shoveled snow, so it was chilly. You got to have the right kind of clothes and build. Yeah, what did Mary say? Big muscles all winter. Yeah, if you're shoveling snow, I can imagine. I can't read the chat, guys. It's too dangerous. I got to focus on the road. On the toll road where I got to pay my toll. So I'll try to stay connected if you guys are going to stick around a little while and chat. Tell me what's going on with you. I'll go through the toll road. I'll see if I can pay and stay connected at the same time. And then when I get on the other side, I'll get to have a look at the chat and see what everybody's talking about out there in the ideas room. It's a really great crowd we've got out there tonight for the Frank Monday Live Drive Jive archive on the 88th day of the 100-day magical challenge, and the new moon coming up on the new moon, disseminating moon. Is that what you call it? Balsamic vinaigrette? No. Yeah. Disseminating moon leading to a balsamic moon. So I haven't figured out all that shit yet. Still connected. Yeah, so it seemed like the moon phase was in Scorpio, and then the sun is also in Scorpio. Here, I gotta pay my toll, guys. So let me see if this will work. Stand by. 1 minute. 1 minute. Stand by. We still connected? We still connected? Give me a yo if we're still connected. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Are we still? Did it work? Looks like it might have worked. Yo, yo, yo! Thanks for the yos. All right. Hey, Chris A's out there in Happy Land. Good to see you, man. How you been? Now that I've gotten off the highway, I can kind of look. I can kind of look over the chat a little bit. I'll turn up this heater though, man. I feel chilled. I feel like I got a little bit of a cold coming on. This cold weather is taking it out of me, man. That's all right. I spent a lot of the weekend hibernating. Hey, brother, all good. Thank you. And you? I'm doing good. I'm feeling a little bit of a cold, though. The cold weather's kind of hitting me hard. Warmed up for a few days. Kind of guy. Growing up in Southern California, running around in shorts and t-shirts for 25 years before I actually experienced any cold weather for the first time. I didn't really build up a resilience to cold weather, but now I've been in it for 20 plus years. So I'm going on 50 now, which means, yeah, about 25 years of having cold winters. So I should be used to it, right? But nah, I think your body and your stuff, everything adapts to what you're mostly raised in. But I get out all the gear. I'll wear the thermal underwear and the scarf. Try to wear a thicker coat because wow, this dude just pulled in front of me for no reason, and he's in a heavy industry truck. Let's see if I can get around some of them. Here comes the left-hand turning lane. Wow, there's an unusual amount of traffic this morning, and I'm wondering why there's so much big truck traffic on this little road. It's kind of strange. I'm early enough. It's only 6:30, 6:30 a.m. here in China. The sun is coming up later as we move towards the winter into last month. So we're a month out from the equinox, which means we're 2 months out from the solstice. Folks are getting excited about Halloween. I don't know. How do you guys feel about Halloween? A lot of people consider it to be a kind of demonic pagan holiday. And some of the Christian type folks think that it's kind of wicked to celebrate Halloween. And I personally, I don't get into the slasher film aspects of it, but I do like the iconography. So how that word is pronounced? Iconography of autumn and Halloween and jack-o'-lanterns. I've been seeing people posting pictures of jack-o'-lanterns online, and the idea of ghosts. Halloween's a big event in the UK. Everyone tries damp squib. What is a damp squib? I haven't heard that expression. I might be reading that wrong. A dank squib. Damp. Oh, a non-event. A nothing burger. Yeah, non-event. I gotcha. Yeah, they this year in China they have. Can you guys hear me? Okay, is this thing working? They have banned. Yeah, good. Thank you. This year in China, they have banned the celebration of foreign holidays. And so normally, like our school would have a little Halloween party, because we're a bilingual school and all of our students are going to be going abroad, right? So normally we would have a Halloween party, a small one, not a big deal, right? And then also trape scenes of Halloween and Christmas, and asking all kinds of new demands of us and telling us not to celebrate foreign holidays. But then that's what was being said. And I read the official the official release by like the Chinese Department of Education, and it wasn't at all as draconian as people are trying to make it out. The good aspects of the Chinese culture. And ever since I've been here, they don't allow, like, obviously there's no adult video, there's no pornography that they allow like on the internet, or they don't have any of those kind of stores or anything that, or magazines or anything like that. And so that's what they're chaste that way when it comes to sexuality. But then also, like, they don't allow horror films. Hong Kong and Taiwan, they do horror films, but on the mainland, they don't have horror films on TV. They don't have a horror film industry, and they don't want people getting ideas of, like slasher films and that kind of thing. They don't want people killing each other or brooding any type of that mentality in society. And so I've always noticed that. And Doesn't really bother me because I'm not into slasher films anyway. But the spirituality, like when there are ghosts or spirits in films and stuff like that, they pretty much don't allow that either. But they do have like the mythology. Yeah, I like the meaningful Samhain stuff. Like it's about Harvest Festival. It's about the fields being decorated with corn stalks and melons and this type of thing. And the idea of it being a Day of the Dead for the people in Latin America, but the energy that the veil is thinner and you can communicate with your ancestors that have passed into the unseen sphere and divination and these types of things. I've never seen anything wrong with that. And I like the fun, more interesting aspects of Halloween. Like, I, I don't think it should be like a Marvel superhero type thing, but I think that people dressing up in like masquerade parties, masquerade balls, and that type of thing, I think it's fun and interesting. Really, it's just the celebration of the harvest season, you know. You guys know all this. And I think that folks in rural times, in ancient rural times, and not even that long ago, I mean, just even 50 or 100 years ago, they would have a lot of traditions because you're preparing for winter. And so it would be the rites and rituals associated with, you know, prepping your food and making canned foods and storing all of the harvest. Enjoy eating it and then getting it ready. Dried fruits and dried things. So I think that should be the focus of the season, and that would get people better prepared for winter anyway, and they wouldn't have to rely as much on grocery stores, which is they kind of entrained everyone into relying heavily on grocery stores instead of doing those old practices of having a garden and then storing away for winter. And as a result, if anything happens to the supply chains of grocery stores, then people are really in big trouble. Um, Pumpkin pies for bolstering the immune system, and squash casseroles and stuff like that. Firing up the oven because it's cold, and it makes sense to do most of your oven baking in these cold weather. And in any given home, I think you would see that, you know, wood burning stoves and stuff. But there's a lot of interesting horseshit going on with the Royals and their attempted manipulation of firewood and the price of firewood and stuff like that. I've heard about just crazy prices on wood, even back in the States, like a 2x4 costing something like $40, and firewood costing hundreds and hundreds of dollars per cord, and natural gas prices going through the roof, and fuel prices getting extremely expensive. What did Karl Marx say? He said you could destroy the middle class by grinding them between the millstone of taxation and inflation. So it really sounds like their little communist Marxist plan. And when we think of communism, we think of all the negative aspects of it because it's never been a system that really worked very good for anybody except for the royal families, you know. All of you guys live in communes and starve to death while we hang out in our mini mansions and lord it over you. Obviously, capitalism doesn't work. No kind of ideology suits every situation. Each community needs to decide for itself. Um, is that Sandra Sue? Sandra Sue was out here in the ideas room the other day, and I didn't see her, and she felt a little bit miffed. She said, "Hey, I was making comments in the chat room, and you didn't say hello to me." And as a result, she felt miffed by that, and I didn't see it. Did anybody see Sandra Sue in the last couple of chats? If you guys were out there, because I tried to say hello to everyone, and I would hope that you would imagine that you would recognize that I'm driving a car and I can't sit and read the ideas room while I'm driving. I thought Sandra Sue of all people would realize that because she says, don't look down at the chat while you're driving. And I tend to agree with that. But now I'm parked under the willow tree. I got about 15 minutes. Hopefully we can stay connected. How's the connection anyway? I haven't seen Sandra Sue in a while. Neither have I, Crystal K. Good to see you, Crystal. What is that name? Some names I can read, like Crystal K, easy. And then I've got zero real to real zero. And that I couldn't even hardly read that. I guess because there's no break. So hey there, real to real. Good to see you. Mary Moon, good to see you. Mary at sea level 2. Real to real is saying hi to Mary. Mary's saying co-rulers in modern astro. I'm very old schooler. No, but yeah, I do appreciate Pluto, but not give him even a co-ruler of Scorpio. Yeah, anything beyond Saturn, I don't recognize in astrology. I mean, it's hard enough just to deal with the primary five that the ancients encoded. So those other ones, like what is it? Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, or is it Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto out beyond Saturn? So Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. Those three have such a long, slow influence that they're generational, right? I was reading the charts, and like Pluto will affect however many years it takes for it to transition from sign to sign. How many years does it take for Pluto, um, Neptune, and Uranus to transition through the zodiac, each sign? So it takes such a long time that they have very minor effect on the day-to-day lives of individuals. They have more of like a generational influence, and then like a a decade or a several year influence. I think it takes them several years to go through each sign. Even Saturn, when you get out that far, the keeper of time, it takes him a long time, him or her. The sphere of Bina, the dark mother, and the grim reaper. So even Saturn's influence is slow going. Pluto is more important when it comes to studying mythology. Yeah, Pluto 30 or so, Neptune 14, and Uranus 7. Okay, good. Thank you for that. That's important info. Yeah, so Pluto's influence is slow plogging. I mean, that's a 30, that's more than a generation. Neptune's more like a generational influence, and then Uranus 7 years. Those are very slow. Yeah, so Pluto is more directly associated with the occult and the dark planets and the elder gods, the outer gods, right? Those who were around at the time of the creation of the planes. And then the old ones, they're supposedly asleep on Earth, right? Okay, I'm checking up on the chat here, guys. I'm seeing if I can read if I missed anything. Frank out in Jersey was asking about the tree of life, and he's asking about the two veils on the tree of life, and does that mean there are two gatekeepers? Yeah, there's a veil of the etheric and astral at Yasad. So as you go from the prime material plane, the waking world, into the dreaming world, and into astral projection, that type of thing, there's a veil there, and then there's a veil uh, between the supernal triad right before you get into the three upper spheres of Keter, Hokmah, and Binah, and then there's another veil between Keter and the Yin Yang expression, the engine of Yin and Yang. That's the expression of Binah. So the third negative veil, the one before you get to the Godhead, you can't cross without dying. And then the one below that is the great abyss. And that happens before you have a deeper understanding of the yin yang expression of duality. So even before you can be initiated to the Saturnian energy and that energy of Hokmah, which is the the zodiacal energies. So that's all really high level stuff. So those are the two primary gates that we work with in magic: the guardian at the first gate and the guardian at the second gate. You'll experience it though, even if you're not a magical practitioner, just through dreaming and lucid dreaming. Obviously, that's well, not obvious maybe, but that's for me anyway. That's kind of what the magical path is about. It's about learning about the way things manifest into our realm and understanding how to create preforms and connect with archetypal energies, whether they be of a psychological nature, a daemoniacal nature, and the old daemons, right? The intelligences of the zodiac, the stars, and other localized spirits and elements, and then humbling yourself before the great source energy and the angelic forces and employing them, you know, reawakening connection with your own guardian angel and that type of thing. So you guys have heard me talk a lot about it. You guys know what I'm up to, I think. Let me see if I can read some more of this. Okay, so Crystal, I think, mentioned uh, I used to love going to the casino until a guy committed suicide in front of me by jumping, stopped me gambling forever. Yeah, that is crazy. Wow. Don't jump, huh? Mary says, interesting theory. I'm more of a boring test everything in old astro. I kind of believe in the past stages before the age of Pisces that the old fathers, Neptune and Uranus, would have had more significance and maybe different placement in the sky, maybe closer. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, from what they say, from what I've heard about some of the old tales, that there were other celestial bodies that were closer in very ancient times. Yeah, I've heard the association of Kether with Pluto. They'll place Pluto, uh, Neptune, and Uranus on the tree of life at the top three supernals. So Saturn at Binah, and then some will put Neptune at Daath, and then Uranus at Hokmah, and Pluto at Kether. But I find that to be erroneous. The Kether energy in Poke Runyon's system, he doesn't put anything at Kether. He puts it at zero and doesn't even put the first aces there. He moves all of that down one step so that the aces are placed at Hokmah, the twos of the minor arcana at Binah, and the threes at Daath. So he brings back the 11 sphere tree of life in the Kabbalah of wizardry, and he moves that placement down just slightly. He says that Kether is, as the Godhead, it's just pure force, and it doesn't even start to be recognizable until you get into the first swirlings, which would be Hokmah, the pure yang expression. And then so on the pillar of force, at the middle pillar, it's the undifferentiated whole before yin and yang divides itself. So there are different ways to look at that supernal triad. And with that placement, everything else on the lightning flash stays the same. You would still have Hesed being 4 and Gabura being 5, and then Tifereth 6 and 7, and so on down the tree. So I find that an interesting change in the tree of life. I've done that. I've worked with both. I don't think that it's absolute. I think you can still place the aces at Kether, the twos at Hokmah, and then just skip over Doth because it's a hidden sphere. But with that intentional, he calls it an intentional blind, that they did that intentionally to keep the uninitiated from hurting themselves with the great power of awakening the true voice at Doth for magical commanding during the decreeism part of magic. And so I think that might be relevant. And if you're apt to study, then you will start to unfold and unravel some of the blinds inherent in any of the systems, the Golden Dawn system or any of the others. Yeah, so it's something to contemplate, definitely. I think for the next 100-day magical challenge, I'll have to set out some new goals, at least for myself. And if you guys follow along, yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that too. As a magician, he jumped off the parking garage was a total bummer. Yeah, that is a bummer. Um, I've never been big on casinos. I've gone to them a little bit, but I could see how once you start losing and you start leveraging like things in your life, I mean, just spending time there could destroy you. And because you got to work a regular day job as a member of the plebeian class, the hoi polloi, and so it could be tough. Um, I went to the casino a few times. I took a friend there, a Chinese guy who ended up losing like $5,000 one time, and I won a couple of $100. And I watched him just continue to lose and lose and lose. And then he started asking to borrow money from me, and I'm like, "Nah, man, it's time to go." And he's like, "No, if I just had more money, I could rebuild what I've lost." And I'm like, "No, you can't." I said, "That's not the way it works. You have to." And his energy turned really dark and he turned sad and he was like crying and shit. And he had a hat on and he's like chewing on the hat. And I thought, good God, why would you do that? And he got pretty close to wanting to commit suicide. And then he wanted to drink and he wanted to stay in the hotel room and he tried to off himself in the bathtub, and I had to kind of pull him out of it. And I'm like, bro, we got to go, man. We got to get out of here. This place is killing you. Times with like really positive, built up magical energy. And one casino sent me some coin, like $100 in coin. And I went down there and I took that blackjack and I built it up to like 2 grand. And I could feel the energy building. And then I felt the energy pulling back. And I lost like $800 suddenly, and I was down to 1,200. So I was still up like $1,000, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. And so I pulled all that money away. I had like $1,200, and I felt really good about it. And I stuck it in my pocket. I cashed out, and I ended up lending him $500. And I saw how, and I still felt like, wow, what a trap activity that would suddenly be generated. And I thought that had I lost that money, even getting away with the $500 and giving him the $500 made me feel kind of bad. And I'm like, wow, here I came in with a positive energy. But then as soon as it took a dip, I was ready to back off. But my friend, he never felt that. Like he didn't get to the point where he felt that negative pull of pulling everything back and then pulling you down, and it doesn't go back up again from there. Once you've lost that magical current, then it's gone, and you had better quit. Like if you had Mary there, you could check your astrological alignments and make sure that everything's good for you. You could use astrology to help you out, but I think that why do that? Why risk your own personal energy on that type of thing? I don't know. So I found it all in all, if I went by myself and I didn't have other people that didn't understand the precepts of magic and manifestation, then it always turned negative. People what I mean. But if I went alone, then I was always able to win and come away from the place feeling good and having taken something away from them. So I never, in the few times, I've only been there half a dozen times or something, Las Vegas and then other places around the country, a couple of Indian reservations and stuff. Um, so it never hurt me. Uh, Frank says, I always hear about the abyss, crossing of the sands, stuff like this. Frank, does the divine feminine, or I can't explain it, but an entity with two torches help you across the abyss? Your holy guardian angel. Um, I received help getting across the abyss by Astarte, and I didn't see her with two torches, but that's interesting. Um, There were torches in the Fathomless Cavern, and I have seen torches in Dreamland, but I don't remember specifically her bearing torches. Um, Maybe there's some iconography there that I'm not familiar with. I watch my friends' transits closely. Wow, we're running out of time, man. Um, the Dark Night of the Soul and crossing the abyss and all of that's kind of high level stuff. Maybe we'll get into it a little more in the next 100-day magical challenge. We'll see where it goes from here. For the last 10 days, and it's going to be Halloween coming up soon, right? I think it'll be fun to try to summarize what we've all been through. So if some of you want to leave a little comment on some of the videos in the future, the ones that I specifically say, like day 90 or whatever, day 88, day 100 of the Magic Connected 100-day magical challenge, to let me know, what questions you have and experienced, how you're enjoying learning about the Tarot Arcana, the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah of Wizardry, uh, initiate rituals of magic, like the pentagram ritual, and are you doing ritual magic, and are you have you chosen an interesting invocation for yourself that you practice, or how's you do you do prayer, meditation? Have you discovered anything interesting in the fathomless cavern in meditation and other various aspects? Yeah, stream got choppy. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna drop. I'm here and it's 7 o'clock anyway, so I do have to run and go to breakfast and start preparing for my day. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's good to see all of you. I will finish with a prayer real quick. Now that I've pulled into the yard, I gotta watch out for my nemesis. You guys know who my nemesis is, right? Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, fast and the mighty one, maker of all things, visible and invisible, creator of heaven and earth, master of both the light and the darkness. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send one of your divine spiritual agents, holy guardian angel, the cleansing wind, to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Send out a special spirit of healing for Crystal K and her situation with her little friend that has passed into the abodes of the night. Send out healing and protection spirits to anybody that needs them. Yeah, that's the guy. You got it. Oh, that guy's such a troublemaker, right? Send a spirit of guardianship for me in my situation with my arch nemesis. Make sure he's not able to sneak up on me. Warn me just in time every time he's coming around. Keep me prescient and intuitive and psychic about that situation. Um, and I hope everyone has a wonderful autumn festival and take care of yourself. Stay warm. Get your scarves out. Get your gloves out and keep doing good magic. I will see you on the other sides of the abodes in the future. Yeah, that's nice. I'm sorry to hear about that, Crystal. I definitely I said a prayer for you as soon as I heard about that. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Good to see all of you. God bless you and the goddess as well. The God and the goddess bless you. Have a good day. Good to see you again, Chris. Good to see you, Crystal, Miss Mary Moon, Real to Real, Frank out in Jersey, Callie Aaron, Sandra Sue, if you're out there, hello to you. I didn't see you in the chat though, so I think she might, some of her comments might get blocked. I don't know. And as above, so below, into the abodes of the future. You guys keep doing good magic. Until next time, Zai Jen.